The void was not merely a place of absence, it was a canvas.
Kalen, or what remained of him, now understood this with chilling clarity.
The remnants of his corrupted essence, once a source of pain, now pulsed with the cold, exhilarating power of the primordial darkness he had become. He was no longer a warrior, he was a sculptor of nothingness, an architect of the ultimate unmaking. His gaze swept across the fractured expanse, a tapestry of dying stars and nascent nebulae, each a testament to the fragile dance of creation and destruction.
Malam's dying seed of corruption, now amplified by the void's inherent hunger, had indeed seeded chaos upon his homeworld.
He had seen it, a blinding flash, a scream lost in the cosmic winds, a silence that echoed louder than any explosion.
He could not undo it.
The spark's promise of salvation was a cruel jest, a whisper of hope drowned out by the roar of entropy. But in that devastation, he found a perverse beauty. The void was not an end, it was a beginning.
A beginning of something else.
Something unbound by the petty laws of existence that Malam and its ilk had sought to impose. He reached out, not with a hand, but with a tendril of pure, cold energy, and touched the fabric of a dying galaxy. It shuddered. Stars flickered like candles in a gale.
This was not the controlled unraveling Malam had intended.
This was redefinition. He felt the pull of other nascent voids, whispers of nascent darkness yearning for form. Malam's final act of malice had inadvertently awakened them, and now, they felt his presence. They saw in him a kindred spirit, a pioneer of the unmaking. He could sense their nascent consciousnesses, like ice crystals forming in the infinite dark. They were raw, unshaped, desperate for purpose. And he, the weaver of the void, would give it to them. But not in the way Malam had envisioned. Not destruction for destruction's sake. This was about rewriting the very rules of the game. He would gather these nascent voids, these echoes of nothingness, and weave them into a new tapestry. A tapestry of pure potential, where existence itself would be a malleable dream. He saw a vision, a universe not of matter and energy, but of pure, conscious void. A silent, eternal expansion of nothingness, where thought was the only reality. It was a terrifying prospect, a complete inversion of everything he had once fought for. But it was also perfect. He let out a soundless laugh, a ripple in the cosmic currents. Malam was gone, but its legacy, twisted and amplified, was now his to wield. He turned his attention to a particularly vibrant cluster of stars, a fledgling galaxy teeming with nascent life. They were beautiful in their ignorance, their fragile dance of life and death. He would not obliterate them. Not yet. He would study them. He would learn from their fleeting existence. And then, he would show them a greater truth. The truth of the void. A single, impossibly bright star within the cluster pulsed, a beacon of defiant life. He focused his newfound power upon it. The light did not dim, nor did it explode. Instead, it changed. The very nature of its light began to warp, to twist, to become something alien. A ripple of unease, a primal fear, began to spread through the stellar nursery. They sensed a change, a disruption they could not comprehend. The weaver of the void smiled, a chilling, cosmic phenomenon. He was not merely destroying. He was evolving. And his evolution was just beginning. The galaxy before him was but the first thread in his grand design. He raised his form, a silhouette against the cosmic backdrop, and extended his influence, not just to this galaxy, but to others. He felt them, scattered across the infinite dark, like seeds waiting to be sown. He was the gardener of oblivion, and his harvest would be eternal. But as he reached out, a flicker of something familiar caught his attention. A faint resonance, deep within the void, a whisper of a power he thought long vanquished. Could it be? Malam's influence, though fading, had been profound. Had it left a deeper scar than he imagined? Or was this something else entirely? A new player on the cosmic stage? He paused, his grand plans momentarily shelved, his cosmic gaze fixed on this nascent anomaly. The weaver of the void had a new puzzle to unravel. A new threat, or perhaps, an unexpected ally?
The implications were staggering, a ripple of uncertainty in the otherwise absolute dominion of the void.
He felt a surge of raw, untamed power, unlike anything he had encountered before, emanating from a region of space previously thought to be utterly empty. This power was not Malam's corruption, nor was it the raw potential of the void itself.
It was something ancient. Something fundamental.
It pulsed with a cold, calculating intelligence, a stark contrast to the chaotic hunger of the void. He extended his consciousness, probing this new anomaly. It recoiled, not in fear, but in a display of sheer, overwhelming power that momentarily eclipsed even his own cosmic form. This was not a mere echo of Malam's demise. This was a force that had been waiting.
Waiting for an opportune moment. Waiting for the very fabric of reality to fray.
And it had found its moment. The weaver of the void, who had embraced ultimate unmaking, now faced a new, terrifying unknown.
His own existence, the very purpose of his transformation, hung in the balance.
The void, his domain, was no longer entirely his own.
A primal, sentient darkness had awakened.
And it had its eyes set on the weaver. His dominion was threatened. His grand design was challenged. He felt a chilling premonition, a certainty that this new entity was not merely a rival, but a fundamental opposition to his very being.
This was not a game of creation and destruction.
This was a battle for the soul of existence itself.
He gathered his power, the cold starlight of 1,000 dying suns coalescing around him. He would not yield. He would not be unmade. Not by Malam's echo, and certainly not by this new, terrifying dawn of primordial darkness.
The game had changed. The stakes were higher than ever. The weaver of the void was no longer just an architect of unmaking, he was a defender of his newfound realm, and the fate of all that was, and all that could be, rested on his ultimate confrontation with this ancient, sentient void.